killers are normally driven by specific motivations, be this financial, infamy, or revenge. For Joanna Dennehy, it was pure pleasure. She killed merely because she liked it and craved the notoriety attached to the most infamous of killers. In March 2013, Dennehy killed 3 men over the course of 10 days in a crime spree that became known as the Peterborough Ditch Murders. Her ultimate objective was to emulate the notorious Bonnie and Clyde team by killing 9 men in total with her partner, Gary Richards. Police arrested Dennehy mere days after they uncovered the first body. But following her conviction, her story became even more surreal as she found love several times with other inmates. And though she will spend the rest of her life in a cell, she still attempts to lure men to her to this very day. Hello, girlfriends and spook daddies. It's Dom.
And Amy.
And welcome to this week's episode of Horror House. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for the love and support you continue to give our humble little show. We know that there are many podcasts that you can choose to listen to, and we very much appreciate you taking the time to listen to ours. Amy, my dear, how are you doing? Oh, wow.
Yay.
You got some love hearts.
Got some love hearts. That's
YouTube people are going to get that a bit more than the audio listeners. But
sorry, audio listeners.
Sorry.
You also have love hearts. They're just. Wait, oral? No, I don't mean oral. Auditory. They're auditory love hearts. Although, if you DM me, I'll happily give you oral love hearts as well.
Oh no, Amy, don't. Oh God.
Oh no,
Your
not again.
DMs are bad enough as it is. You don't need invitations.
It's worth it though. For the listeners, it's worth it.
No, that is true. That is true. How are you today, my dear?
I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing good. I had a really good meeting today with my boss at work, who I think has realised now that I was worth hiring. Which is good. Yeah, I'm gonna wait a couple more months until I've passed probation to request a pay rise. But yeah, it was good. And I'm very excited for this episode. How are you? How's your week?
It's been okay. I actually have money in my bank account now because I got a big old payout from work on Friday. So I had a little splurge on Sunday, and I treated myself to some things. And I may or may not have put a deposit down on a Universal trip for February next year.
Couldn't possibly comment.
That may be true. That may be not true. I can't confirm nor deny. But no, it's been a good week so far. So, Amy, do you have any true crime news, any true crime updates for us this week?
Well, Dom, I'm glad you asked in a totally non-pre-planned way, because I have only one piece of true crime news that truly matters, and that is that this very recording that we're doing right now, that you listeners are listening to and you YouTubers are YouTubing, watching is the word I was looking for. This episode is our 100th episode. Kudos to us.
Oh yes. Cue air horn noises and confetti.
The crowd went wild.
Effects. The crowd went wild.
Which is insane. Insane. Although I do want to take just a very, very brief moment to say thank you to you, because you did the first 32 episodes without me, and this was your baby, and I came along, and although you did invite me, I came along and went, yeah, I can get on board with this. I could be a part of this. And honestly, I can't imagine not doing it now. I always have a lovely time. I enjoy speaking with you every week and recording, and I think that's the main thing that comes out of it, is that we just have a good laugh when we do it. And if you had told me when I did that first episode, which I was so ridiculously nervous for,
Oh,
like
bless you.
I was shitting it. I was like, oh my God, he's done like 32 episodes. What if I come on and just completely fuck it up? So nervous. Never been more nervous about talking about the Black Death. If you'd have told me then
Oh yeah, that was
that I
the
would
first
still
episode.
be here, that I'd still be here, 68 episodes later, I would have said no, 100%. He will have binned me off by this point, and you didn't. So, thank you. I always have a blast, and I really appreciate that you chose me as your co-host. So thanks, Dom.
Oh, that was unexpected. I don't take compliments very well, so I
don't give them very often, so don't
no,
get used
you
to
don't.
it.
Even to me, you don't give compliments that often. That's
Nope.
a rarity. But seriously, no, that's very, very sweet, and that's very kind. And sort of on that token, I want to thank you as well, because you coming on as co-host has sort of reinvigorated my passion for doing this, because towards the end of doing it solo and before you came on, I started to find this a bit of a chore, and I was starting to lose sort of the passion for it. And since you've come on, it's been rediscovered, and much the same. I have an absolute blast recording with you, and seeing your lovely face every week and talking about hideous things with you. It genuinely is. It genuinely is the highlight of my week. I know we jokes last week where you were like, "Don't tell me this is the highlight of your week" and all that stuff. It genuinely is the highlight of my week. It's what I look forward to the most. It is the best 2 hours. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you for bringing on new listeners. Thank you for bringing new life into the podcast. And I know I joke, being like, oh, if you want to become co-host of Horror House, email the podcast email. I genuinely wouldn't want to do this when anyone else, because it wouldn't be the same. So thank you as well.
Thank you. That's
you
sweet.
are very welcome.
I'm going to stop it there, because I think probably our listeners are vomiting.
That's like,
which they're just like, oh God, you guys, get a room. So we'll move on. Because I know that we have got some messages from some of our collaborators.
Yes.
But most importantly and firstly, from our biggest fan and most important fan, I would say.
Yes.
So Dom, do you want to read that out?
I will. I suppose I can read. Suppose I can read it out. Let me find.
Don't be like that. It needs to happen.
Let me find the email. Amy is right. It's a very important. It is my dear old mother. So yes. If I didn't read this out, then she would probably disown me as a son, which will be a bit rubbish. So
for context, my parents don't even listen. Like they know I do this every week. They're fully aware that this happens, and they recommend it to people. Like that they highlight that we do it, and they'll be like, oh yeah, and my daughter does a true crime podcast, you should have a listen. And they'll ask me for links to send to people. But if you think they listen, you're fucking wrong. And I think mostly the reason is because I do swear too much, and I talk about my bleached arsehole, and I make jokes that they wish. I think it probably highlights to them how much they failed as parents, so I get it. I get why they don't listen. But my point being that your mum does listen, and she appreciates what we do. So we need to read out her message, because it was a lovely message.
This is from Mama Brown. Quote, "Hi guys. I just want to say congratulations on your 100th episode, which is amazing. You've absolutely smashed it, and I couldn't be prouder of you both. Keep doing what you're doing and enjoy it. Love ya, Ma. Kiss, kiss, kiss." Aww. So that was from Yvette.
Love you, Yvette. Thank you.
So a lovely, lovely message. And I'm pretty certain that she tunes in every week. I
think at that point,
she's
even
that
though
far
Yvette
behind.
might fully kill me for suggesting this, I think when you read out a message, you should put up the picture of her in her Horror House hoodie on screen. I think. And then if she gets angry, it's my fault, and I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll just say that Amy forced me to put that photo.
She's a super fan, so she needs to. She needs to be featured.
I will.
Awesome.
I will put her up. Put her up on the YouTube. And yes, thank you, Mother, for that lovely, lovely message. And thank you for always supporting us in repping with the merch and all that good stuff.
And we got some really lovely messages from people, so I think we should take a little bit of time now to have a little listen to those, don't you?
Absolutely. We've got, I think it was about 4, wasn't it, that we got in the end?
4
audio clips, which we're going to put in now. So I hope you enjoy listening to them as much as we enjoyed listening to them, and we shall see you back here in just a wee moment.
Hello, everyone. Oh, God. But we're here to celebrate him.
Oh, I'm so sorry. If I had known that Leo was going to try to do an English or British accent, I would have just done this alone.
I can do it better than that. I just didn't want to.
Yeah. Well, now I'm embarrassed to say who we are. But for all of your wonderful listeners at Horror House, True Crime and the Macabre, this is Stephen and this is Leo.
Hello.
From Spoils of Horror. And apparently this is Oliver from the musical Oliver.
I'm much better with an Irish accent.
We are here not just to horrifically embarrass ourselves, which we are excellent at.
Masters of.
Yes. But we are here to congratulate Dom and Amy on their 100th episode.
I cannot believe you have done 100 of these. Holy cow.
It's crazy. And boy, as a podcast who has done a bunch of episodes myself, it's kind of unbelievable when you hit 100. Easy to do.
Truly amazing. Truly not easy to do. We've learned that by doing. Just getting into 20 episodes, let alone 100, is a feat. And you guys have some pretty big feet. You've done very well.
And you have the challenge of having to talk about real things. So you have to do a show where you have to talk about like things that have actually happened. See, we don't have to do that. We can just talk about, like Tom Atkins and Maniac Cop.
That's right. That's got to be a challenge for you. I'm making a lot of fun here, but I applaud you for being able to get this all done. That's some real research. That's some real telling of real facts with real people involved. That's a hell of a thing.
And you guys are amazing. It's a really fun show. We've gotten to be on there 3 times. And we had fun every single time. We got to talk about Heaven's Gate, which was a riot a minute. I've given them a hard time before. I'm really glad we were on the Heaven's Gate episode, but I gave them a hard time because I was like, we're like a comedy show, and you picked this horrible, horrible tragedy. But it's fine. We navigated it really well, and I do find that story very interesting. We also talked about the Sarah Winchester house.
Yes, we did.
And then we had a ton of fun talking about a guy who was constantly escaping from various prisons. That was probably the most Spoils of Horror type episode, especially because I don't think that we ever talked about the crime too much. We just did a whole lot of butthole jokes.
I mean, you go where the play is.
You go where the money is.
That's
really.
it.
You go where the money is. I blame Amy for that. That was, of course, our first time getting to work with Amy, who was a fucking riot. She was a good time.
You're great.
That was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. We've got to figure out some kind of collaboration that we can do on our end. I don't know what that's going to be. I promise Leo will not be allowed to do his terrible street urchin accent.
We'll do the Town That Dreaded Sundown again.
Oh, no. No. Nope. We'll find some other cool crossover horror movie that is also a real true crime case. Anyway, congratulations to Dom, to Amy. Congratulations to all of your fans. And here is hoping that you at least make it to 101.
Small bar. We're setting a small bar for you.
I'm all about attainable goals.
But truly worthwhile. Everyone keep listening, subscribe, all that shit. Whatever the podcast world version of that is.
Yep, I'm sure they're all over Deezer.
That's the one. That's the one.
All right, everybody. Congratulations.
Bye.
What's going on, everybody? This is Charlie with Gimme Back My Action and Horror Movies. Just wanted to pop on here real quick because apparently it's a really special occasion. It is the 100th episode of Horror House Pod with our friends Dom and Amy. And if you're wondering why it's just me, and if you do listen to the show, there's two other co-hosts. It's because they're on quests right now. Apparently, when I needed to record, Pete right now is in Japan hunting down Godzilla. Not making that up. If you follow him on social media, he's everywhere right now. And Nate said something about wanting to start a band based solely on the Gremlins 2 characters. So not entirely sure what he meant by that, but you at least get me here, and I wanted to take just a little bit of time to say how much we really love Dom and Amy and the support they've shown our show and the support we showed their show. Has been tremendous. They're really excellent podcasters. Their show is awesome. I absolutely adore it. They even had our friends Steven and Leo on not too long ago. We haven't been on yet, but that's okay. It's okay. We're chaotic. We understand. But anyway, congratulations on 100 episodes. We're here for it. We cannot wait to see how many more episodes you guys do, how many more great stories you're going to tell. And yeah, Dom, also, if there's a Patreon option for you to just read the phone book and put that out as a bonus track, I'd be down for that. I'd probably back that. So love you guys. You're doing awesome. Here's to the next 100 and the next 100 and the next 100. Maybe another one. I don't know yet.
Hi, my name's Reggie, and I am the co-host on the single greatest podcast the universe has ever heard, Talk Until the Joy Is Gone. I'm here today to congratulate Dom and, what's her face? That girl. The one with the red hair and the cleavage. Anyway, fuck her, she's not important. I'm here to congratulate Dom on 100 episodes of the third greatest podcast the universe has ever heard, Horror House. Trust me, as a man that's just celebrated 200 episodes, getting to 100 is no mean feat. Most podcasts fall way before that first hurdle. So congratulations, Dom, and, whoever you are, that other one. I think any day one listeners, any long-term hardcore Horror House listeners will agree with me. The first 32 episodes, easily the best. The other 68, they're all right. They're not too bad. I mean, I'm still listening, but those first 32 are just pure gold. Why he had to add that girl, I have no idea. Dom was smashing it on his own. Anyway, I'm very excited to listen to the next 100, and I think I speak on behalf of all of your very loyal listeners, which you have way more than we do. I don't know why, but you do. But anyway, I digress. I think they would all agree with me that the best is yet to come. So congratulations, Dom. Well done. And that's it. Her name's Amy. Amy. Yeah. She's the one that brought it all down. Yeah. Anyway, congratulations. Well done. I hope episode 100 turns out smashing for you both.
Hey, it's Kayla.
And it's Lexi.
And we are from A Little Wicked. Horror House has done great so far with everything that they've accomplished with their podcast, and I'm excited to see where they go.
Yeah, we have done a couple of episodes where we have collaborated on their podcast, and they've collaborated on ours. If you haven't checked out Horror House podcast, go ahead and give them a listen. They cover some great stuff. I think the first time we met with them, they talked about the Alcatraz
Yeah, they did.
mystery. Yeah, that was awful. And you know what? There's actually an Alcatraz themed escape room that opened up not too far from me. That made me think of that episode.
But yeah, so congrats to Horror House for your 100th episode. Can't wait to see where you guys go.
We love that for you guys. Great job.
Those were some lovely, lovely, lovely messages.
Yeah,
Maybe
mostly.
maybe one of them.
Mostly. Yeah, I think me and Reggie at Touchig are going to have some words. But
it was lovely
it's
to
good
meet.
to know, though, that what I bring to the table is red hair and cleavage. Because I don't do any research and I definitely don't bring anything else. So, yeah, thanks for that.
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of funny because the message from Touchig was sort of a, Dom's amazing, and then the message from Spoils was Dom's pretty cool, but Amy's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
So
it's all about balance. It's all about balance. So
yeah, balanced it out.
it's fine. I mean, I tell you what, Dom, you go ahead and go do a guest spot on Touchig. I'll go and do a guest spot with Stephen and Leo. At least we'll both be where we're enjoyed, and then everyone else can have both of us and suffer.
But yeah, those were some lovely messages. Obviously, Leo and Stephen from Spoils of Horror, Kayla and Lexi from A Little Wicked, we've collabed with a few times, and it's been an absolute blast recording with them.
I'm trying to think if I've got because I'm not going to pick one of my own episodes as my favourite, because I don't, as much as I enjoy both sides, I much prefer hearing from you, your cases, as opposed to reciting them myself. So I think my favourite episode that you've done is probably, do you know what, just because it's so wild and it's so like 21st century, and because I fucking called it. Like,
I know what episode you're going to say.
Bang on.
Yeah.
Mid-episode, I was like, here's what it is. And then the second half of the episode was just you saying, yeah, Amy, you were right, that's what it is. And that was the Liz Gollier episode.
Yeah.
Because if there is one thing I know, it's Psycho Bitches. And I got that one spot on. And it's just a really good story. Like, there's a Netflix documentary about it, so you know it's good. And
there is.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's insane that she's gone to that. Woman killed her own pets.
Yeah.
Mental.
And set her own house on fire and shot herself in the leg.
Yeah.
And
what? Yeah. So I think of all the cases you've brought to the table, I think that's definitely my favourite, I think.
It was one of my favourites to talk about, to be honest, because it was just a wild story of like such just a psycho woman who like wasn't even who was explicitly aware that it was casual sex and nothing more.
Yeah.
And then got mad when he was having casual sex with somebody else.
Casual sex, money penny.
Casual sex, Sean Connery again. And then she killed his other bird that he was shagging.
Yeah.
And then like pretended to be her for like years. Wasn't it like it was like 4 years?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a good chunk of time. Like, she definitely committed to the bit. But it's
oh god.
Yeah, it's just a very crazy case.
It was something. It really, really was. And obviously we have recorded many episodes together. We've recorded more episodes together than I did. Flying
that was a
solo.
turning point for me, actually. When I realised that we'd done more episodes together than you had alone, I was like, okay, I think he's actually going to keep me. Like, I think he's committed to having a co-host now. I think we're good. I felt safe at that point, like I'd passed probation.
I've been here for 34 episodes. I think I'm good.
I think I'm okay.
There are many episodes that I have thoroughly enjoyed that you've talked about. Before I do get into one in particular, I just want to give a shout out to Charlie from Give Me Back by Action and Horror Movies, because they sent us a lovely message as well. And I see what Charlie did with the little, they collabed with our friends Leo and Stephen. We haven't been invited on the show yet, but it's okay. We see what you did. We see what you did.
We got it. We're picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, exactly. but seriously, Charlie, we will get you guys on the show. Do not worry. And thank you for your support, because Charlie, Nate, and Pete are always supporting us and shouting us out on social media and all of that good stuff. So your support is greatly appreciated as well. And thank you for your message.
You guys can get fucked. You're never coming on.
Oh. Wow. Well then.
Although thank you for your support, obviously. No.
Sorry, Reggie. It's fine. We can collab together. Amy can conveniently be ill or something. I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Fine. You do you. I'll just go take my red hair and cleavage elsewhere.
So yeah, like I said, there are many episodes that Amy's done that I've thoroughly enjoyed. And there are a few that stuck out. And I sort of went between these two. But the soap maker woman, Leonardo, I can't remember her name.
Leonardo Carluccia.
That's, yes, we'll go with that.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. The soap maker who killed people and then made
them into
out
soap
of their bodies or something. Made them into soap, and then didn't she make them into food, like proper Sweeney Todd style as well?
So she put them into food and she made them into soap, and then gave the soap as gifts to people and their families, like the victims' families. They were like, "Here's some soap in this trying time," and it's literally made of their relatives, which was, she was she was a character, wasn't she? She was fun.
She was a wild woman, and I know that from that description I gave it sounds like I probably wasn't paying attention during the episode or something. I have a terrible memory, and we have done many episodes since then. So I couldn't remember exactly what she did, but I just remember that it was wild, and it's just looking at her as well. She's just she looks like this harmless old woman. She looks like your nan. You look at her and you're like, she's harmless, absolutely harmless. But yeah, she was killing people and then making them into soap.
As she did. I mean, at least she wasn't being wasteful, I suppose. At least she's doing something with their bodies, but also gross.
No, true. Just not being aware that the soap you're using is from your friend. It's literally your friend in soap bar form. That would be absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
Cool. So people are probably just absolutely dying for us to actually dive into this week's case at this point. But it is, as Amy said, it's an important episode. It's our 100th, and we wanted to take a good amount of time talking about the first 100 episodes and acknowledge the lovely messages that we've got from people and all of that good stuff. Plus, I wanted to let Amy know how important she is to the show, because I think bless her, she doesn't realise it sometimes. So
thanks.
There
wouldn't be a show without you, so I'd say we're both equally important at this point. But yes, and obviously we wouldn't be able to do what we do. There wouldn't be 100 episodes if people didn't listen to them. So thank all of you for being here, for listening, for supporting us. There are loads of comments, loads of messages that are for people that say lovely things all the time, not just because it's the 100th episode. And we read them all, and every time we read them all, it makes us feel good about what we do and want to keep going. So thank you for all of those.
Yes, absolutely. The just constant support week in, week out is something we definitely don't take for granted. Anyway, would you like to get stuck into this week's case, Amy? I feel like it is time to talk about Miss Joanna Dennehy. Do you recognise the name?
I think I might. The name does ring a bell, but I can't picture the face or anything. So I think it's safe to assume I know nothing. Sometimes I just pretend to know things, but I do recognise the name. the Dennehy sounds familiar. So maybe it'll ring some bells as we get into it.
So, are you ready, Ames, to get into Joanna Dennehy and the life and crimes of this woman?
For the 100th time, Dom, I'm ready.
Good.
See what I did there? Yeah, see, I am bringing something to the table.
Yep. This is why we need to get paid for what we do, because it's just professionalism. Unbelievable stuff.
Good stuff.
So, born in 1982, Joanna Dennehy spent her childhood living with her mother, Kathleen, her father, Kevin, and sister, Maria, in St. Albans, Hertfordshire.
Oh,
by all accounts, I know, I was about to say, that is not too far from yourself. Not too far. By all accounts, Joanna had a stable and caring upbringing, and during her junior years, she performed well academically. However, when she would reach adolescence, everything would change, and a very different Joanna Dennehy would start to emerge. So we won't get into it now, but I think this case is one that you could definitely have a discussion of: are people born evil, or are they made that way? You'll see why as we go through the episode. So Joanna Dennehy would run away from home at the age of 16 in August 1980. I put August 1982. That's definitely not right, because that's when she was born. Right. Why did I put that? So she ran away from...
It would be August 1998.
Yeah, August 1998.
Oh my God, it turns out you get to 100 episodes, you can suddenly do maths. Amazing.
I know, right? So yeah, Dennehy would run away from home at the age of 16, not in August 1982, because that's when she was born, with her 21-year-old boyfriend, John Trainer. Since Dennehy didn't want children, she was not particularly pleased when she would become pregnant in 1999 at the age of 17. Dennehy, as soon as her daughter was born, would start drinking, taking drugs, and self-harming.
Oh, good. That's a good reaction to a baby.
Yes. Despite her actions, Dennehy would become pregnant yet again in 2005.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Because it went down so well the first time that the appropriate response is, let's just do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine not wanting children, and then you end up having two. Something's not gone quite right on that.
Contraception. Let's have the talk.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I actually genuinely think that we should start doing, as a line of merch, Horror House condoms. Because there are so many cases where the person that we're talking about is just a walking advertisement for contraception.
Yeah.
So maybe if we start giving out condoms, we should, it would make sense, right?
Once we get that Durex sponsorship, we can partner with Durex and do some Horror House.
Oh my God, the Durex sponsorship. It's been so long since we've mentioned the Durex sponsorship. Yes, we should.
Yeah.
Durex, if you're listening, hit us up.
Let's get a brand deal going.
What would anything that makes sense?
What would Horror House condoms even look like?
Bright purple.
Bright purple.
Yeah. With like ghosts. So I reckon they could be bright purple, but then the tip was just like the little face of a ghost.
Okay.
Like our Horror House ghost. So that when it was, when you have risen to the occasion, it's like a little ghost just floating up. And then you could come away with like a haunted nanny or a haunted bumhole, wherever you put your penis. Be fun.
Listen, Durex, we're printing you money at this point. You would be a fool not to take us up on this.
You really need to. I've personally never understood why condoms aren't character themed.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
It's a fair point.
I think it's only fair.
Yeah.
We could even do one that's like a dagger.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the horror house dagger could work.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many options. I mean, we could just do normal condoms, but then it's our face on the wrapper. And
Yeah.
then it could be like the little horror house logo on the front and then us on the back like, yay, you're getting laid. Congrats.
Get in, my son. Well done.
Go on, give her one for me.
Go
Like,
on, lad.
You know, we could do that. And then afterwards, when they remove the condom, you know how when you take the condom off and it goes inside out?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
inside of the condom could be printed with another message that's like, well done for not getting her pregnant.
And stay spooky.
You saved the world, a serial killer. Something like that. You know, I think this could catch on.
Maybe. Let's start a campaign. Listeners,
Yeah.
viewers, let's get this
Help
done.
us.
Help us
Help
out.
us. Yeah.
So
Sorry, that was a tangent, wasn't it? Sorry about that.
That's funny. So yes, despite Joanna Dennehy not being a particularly ideal mother, I know that sounds probably quite harsh, but
I mean, I don't think so.
still, despite her actions, Joanna did become pregnant again in 2005. As Joanna and John's children matured, her husband and other family members were aware of Dennehys' growing narcissism. Traynor would later decide to remove the children entirely from Dennehy and the toxic atmosphere that she had created. In 2013, Joanna would first meet 48-year-old Kevin Lee in Peterborough. Peterborough. Lee Lee rented out inexpensive rooms to vulnerable individuals. And after Lee started paying Dennehys rent, the two would enter a sexual relationship. So she's getting regular sex and she's getting her rent paid. Happy days. Well done, Joanna.
Dream.
That is the dream.
It's the aim of my game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the game. That's different.
As Lee's hired, quote, enforcer, Joanna intimidated and threatened people into making unpaid rent and other debt payments. With her rent paid and a paying job, albeit a unconventional paying job, but a paying job nonetheless, Dennehy felt her life was more stable than it had been for quite a while, probably since her childhood, really, because obviously she ran away from home at 16 and it's kind of been not great since then.
Yeah, a bit fraught. Couple of surprise sprogs will do that to you.
Yeah, absolutely. But now she's getting regular sex. She doesn't have to pay rent. She's got a stable job. You know?
Priorities.
See, things are on the up for Joanna Dennehy. So Dennehy would meet her first victim of her 10-day killing spree. And this would be, Lucas Slabazewski. And she would meet him mere days before she would actually take his life. The two had previously crossed paths in Peterborough streets, and Lucas is said to have thought there might be a possibility for romance with Joanna. Dennehy would text Lucas, inviting him to her flat, where they would enjoy a drink and some conversation. Joanna would convince Lucas to play a game by blindfolding him. However, shockingly enough, she had... I know, right? Kinky.
Yes.
Unfortunately, shockingly enough, she had no intention of playing a game. Instead, with her victim blindfolded, she would pull out a knife and would stab him in the heart. Not quite as kinky as you may have originally anticipated.
It's not what I had in mind, but okay.
Poor Lucas. I thought I would get some sex, but instead I just got stabbed in the heart. Like, what
damn
the
it.
fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, poor Lucas.
Poor Lucas, indeed. So, not being able to dispense of the body herself, she would get the help of Gary Stretch Richards, who was a known criminal and associate of Joanna's. By all accounts, Richards, who was a 7'3" monster of a man, was entirely enamored with Dennehy and was happy to do whatever was required of him.
Shit.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if they aren't prepared to help you hide a body, then they're just not worth it.
They're not worth it.
They're not worth it.
No. 7'3". Holy shit.
He's a big man.
Like,
He's
that's a lot.
big man.
I feel like
Yeah.
this is what I'm missing in life, you know? I feel like I could get so much further in the game we call life if I just had a henchman.
I mean,
it doesn't necessarily need to be like 7'3", you know, under 7 foot is fine, but I just feel like if I had a henchman, I could just get so many things done, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it would help in life to have a henchman. Absolutely. There are definitely situations where it would come in quite useful.
Yeah. Not that I plan on killing anyone, but just carry the shopping.
Not that you plan on hiding a body anywhere.
No. Not this week.
Good.
But
Good.
yeah, just if you're a henchman and you're looking for work, just give me a shout. Drop me a deal.
Yeah. Hit up Amy. She pays well as well. So don't worry. Do not worry.
Maybe.
So after Richards and his friend Leslie Layton arrived at the apartment, they would move Lucas's body to a wheelie bin outside a nearby apartment building. The body would be taken from the wheelie bin and then dumped into a ditch in a rural area of Peterborough a few days later. Around 10 days after killing Lucas, Dennehy would kill her next victim, which was her housemate, which is just a bit rude, 56-year-old John Chapman. Like, why kill your? What did John do? Did
he's
he
paying
know?
half your rent? Know which side your bread's buttered.
Yes, Joanna was like, "Sorry, John. Like, you left the toilet seat up the other day, and you didn't do the washing up, and you're annoying me. I'm gonna have to kill you. I'm sorry."
And she's going full psycho on him, stabbing him, and as she's doing it, just being like, "I need the discount on the council tax." And that was it.
Our energy bills are too high, John. It's a cost of living crisis.
Stop
God damn
leaving the TV on standby.
So John Chapman would be killed in the same vein as poor Lucas. Dennehy and Chapman were drinking and talking. When after Chapman passed out drunk, Dennehy would stab him in the chest 6 times and would do it using the same knife as she used to kill Lucas. So Joanna's third and final victim would be her landlord and her sexual partner, Kevin Lee.
Oh.
So maybe the sex was just very, very bad.
A bit dried up.
Kevin Lee had to go.
Yeah. Rather than spice things up, she was just like, let's run its course.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do some knife play. and by that I mean I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you. That's fine. Yeah, never trust a woman that like knives in the bedroom.
No, you never know what will happen. Especially when it comes to Joanna Dennehy, and we'll get into why a little bit later. So Kevin Lee would be stabbed in the heart and obviously killed by Dennehy after she invited him to her flat. Once more, with Richard's assistance, his body was disposed of in another ditch about 8 miles from the site of Joanna's initial 2 victims, clad in a black dress of hers that she would convince him to wear.
Oh, okay.
Spicy.
Is she kinky? Okay. I mean, I agree with a lot of her methods. Like, I've got no issues with, a man popping on some of my clothing or, whipping out a knife in the bedroom. It's the actually killing someone part that I maybe draw the line at.
Yeah. According to the BBC, Dennehys' accomplices later stated that they didn't want to help her dispose of the bodies of the victims, but gave into fear of Joanna. Now I can see Amy's face,
Okay.
and I do have some thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Because I
Got a
saw
couple
Amy's
of
face,
thoughts.
and I can imagine that it was probably the same face that everyone else made while listening and or watching. So, like I said, that's quite a statement, especially for Richards, because Richards towered over Joanna by at least 2 feet.
Yeah, what's she going to do? Bite his kneecaps?
Yeah, exactly. But not only that, Richards was just, for whatever reason, head over heels for Joanna, and he would say how high if Joanna asked him to jump. So giving into fear of Joanna when you're 2 feet taller than her and you're absolutely obsessed with her, I don't think that really washes, to be honest.
No, it's not the strongest of
No.
arguments, is it?
No. Good try. I don't think in a court of law that's going to stand up, but good attempt. So Joanna and Richards would conduct a robbery in Norfolk on April the 2nd, 2013. Richards' associate, Mark Lloyd, was contacted and agreed to assist them in fencing the stolen goods. Once in the car with the pair, Lloyd was shocked at Dennehys' boasts of having murdered people and wanting to do so again. And indeed, Joanna did try and kill 2 more people. So she wasn't lying. She is a woman of her word. Once in Hereford, it's where some of my family live, they came across 2 men, John Rogers and Robin Bariza, I believe, who were out walking their dogs. After stabbing Bariza in the shoulder and chest, Dennehy would proceed to stab Rogers more than 40 times, which is
What?
quite a lot.
That's just too many. Like, what are you even
Yeah.
stabbing? After a certain point, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Takes. I
no.
can imagine it would take a hell of a lot of stamina as well to stab someone 40 times.
Yeah, I mean, if you put that much effort into sex, we might not be into this situation. But 40 times is just too much. Like, your arm would get... I wonder if she changed arms. Probably.
Oh, I reckon so.
Yeah.
Like after every 10 stabs, she was like, right.
Yeah, she was doing it like reps at the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 on each side.
I mean, I would have to, like,
Oh, absolutely.
I would fucking dislocate a shoulder, I think, if I tried to do it 40 times
She's
with the
just not
same arm.
making full use of her henchmen. Like, if you...
No.
This is why she doesn't deserve a henchman. Like,
No,
you
no.
need to get them to do the work. He's besotted. That's what he's there for, as the henchman. I'm really, like, clutching onto the word henchman. But he's there as the henchman, so let him do the stabbing. You, I don't know, file your nails, sit back, watch, enjoy the show. I mean, ideally, don't kill anyone, I think is the overall takeaway. But also, if you've got a henchman, make use of your henchman. Otherwise, they're going to go to the henchman's union and just be upset.
The henchman's union.
Yeah, they're allowed to unionise, Dom, okay? Like, Henchman's Anonymous.
What is it? Did I say run by fucking Jimmy Hoffa or something?
They want a good working environment. That's all they want. And that's, you have to respect that.
Henchman's workplace rights.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, yeah, I mean, why has she got a henchman if she's not really using him? You might imagine that after being stabbed more than 40 times, Rogers died. However, on the account of some very quick medical help, these two were able to be saved and identify Joanna during her trial. That's got to suck. Like, because Joanna probably thought, yes, like, I've stabbed Rogers more than 40 times. There's no way he's surviving. And then she goes on trial, and Rogers is just like, sup, bitch.
Bet you thought you'd seen the last of me. What kind of state was he in? Like, he must have some gnarly scars.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
God,
I kind of want to see this guy just to have a little look, you know? Because that's impressive. And I'm sorry, but that is something you're going to want to tell people. Like, if you're in the pub and it's like, oh, a bit skimmed before payday, I could do with a few free drinks. You're whipping out your scars. I've been stabbed 40 times and survived. Buy me a fucking drink.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I would definitely be doing that.
And you could play that card for so many things as well. If someone's like, you know, someone like asks you to do something and you're like, I don't feel like it. And they're like, come on, like, I've had a really hard day. You could just be like, well, I got stabbed 40 times.
Yeah.
Like,
I've had the hardest day. Okay? You think you've had a hard day? It's fucking nothing. Yeah? I've had a hard day. I know what hard is. So why don't you just shut up and make me a cup of tea?
You've had hard times. Hard times. Me? Got stabbed 40 times and almost fucking died.
Oh, you're having a bad day, are you? Did you get stabbed 40 times? Oh. Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, he's got all of the respect. That's a lot of stabbings.
As I said, John and Robin were walking their dogs. Now you might be thinking, please tell me Joanna didn't end up stabbing the dogs as well.
Yeah, no,
to
too far.
Add insult to injury. She didn't harm the dogs. However, as kind of an insult to literal injury for Rogers, she would steal his dog after stabbing him 40 times. And the dog was found in her possession when she was arrested. I don't know if that's just a bit fucking rude to steal someone's dog after you stabbed them
dickish.
40 times. Like, or it's either that, or in a very strange way, on the assumption that she probably thought he would die, she took the dog in, so the dog wasn't without a home. But that's probably not right. It's just a bit fucking rude.
Maybe. To be fair, I don't think it was probably Roger's first thought. Like, saw her walking off with the dog and was like, wow, that was a bit rude. I think he probably had other things on his mind. But
to be fair,
I would hope it's the second one. But yeah, as long as the dog doesn't die, I mean, I'm good.
As far as I saw, neither of the dogs died.
Good.
So at least we got a happy result in a way. At least the dogs were okay. And I would definitely like be like, don't take my fucking dog.
Yeah, that's why he survived. He saw it walking off with the dog and was like, oh hell no. Absolutely not.
So how did the Popo end up catching Joanna Dennehy? Surprise, surprise, she was eventually caught.
Yeah, shocker.
Well, Kevin Lee, who had a wife and family, but was also boinking Joanna.
Yoinking. Oh my God.
I immediately regretted that as soon as that left my mouth.
There was no way I was going to let it go either.
So, as I said, Kevin Lee had a wife and family and was also having an affair with Joanna. And he was reported missing, which was in contrast to the first two victims, who unfortunately were not reported missing. On March the 30th, a member of the public would find Kevin Lee's body. After his identification and brief investigation into his affairs, Joanna would become a person of interest and someone the police absolutely would quite like to sit down and have a little chat with. However, when they attempted to question Joanna, she would go on the run, along with Richards. However, Joanna's time on the lam would last all of 2 days before they eventually tracked her down, and she was arrested on April the 2nd, 2013. Oh, that's a bit of a disastrous
yeah, that's not really very
life
long, is
on
it?
the run.
Do you know what? I was just sitting there thinking, oh, she might have got away for quite a long time, because I was thinking about, oh, bugger, what's his name? The man that kept escaping from prison, what was his name?
Oh, no. Oh, it was only a few weeks ago as well. I can't remember his name.
Anyway, the case we covered with Spoils of Horror, who...
Richard McNair. I'm
Richard
pretty sure
McNair.
it's Richard McNair.
So, Richard McNair, he escaped from prison and was then on the lam for 10 months. And I remember thinking in that episode, and I'm pretty sure we said it as well, holy shit, that's a long time. Like, good for you for being on that lam that long. And then, yeah, I think this just highlights how difficult that actually is to do, because she only managed 2 days.
Yeah. And not only that, Richard, that was the first time he escaped. Like, I think his final escape, he was on the run for like nearly 2 years or something ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. That's not easily done.
No, and poor old Joanna literally had no time to I was about to say enjoy her time on the run. I don't know if you can enjoy your time on the run, but she didn't really. I mean, where can you go when you're on the run for 2 days?
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting
she
far
probably
away,
didn't get particularly far. Yeah.
Oh no, you could
Absolutely
probably
not.
get the length of the UK in 2 days. I mean, you can get the length of the UK in 2 days, but yeah, I mean, obviously she didn't get
Plus,
far.
I've just thought, like, maybe 7'5" Richards was quite easy to spot.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, that's the only thing you really need to get out about that pair, isn't it? It's like, she's traveling with a 7'5" man. Okay, yeah, fair. Like, I used to know a guy who, I think he was 6'10", which is obviously quite tall, and you couldn't go anywhere with him and him not be stopped. Like, people would talk to him just because he was that tall, and like people would like stand next to him and have pictures and stuff. So if you're over 7 foot, people are gonna notice. Like, people are gonna want to speak to you and want to know what's going on. So yeah, you're probably right. Stupid stretch. It's all his fault.
Do you reckon, like, the task force that was like set up to find them during briefing, they were like, right, so what you guys need to do is look out for a couple, one of them being quite tall and the other one being quite small. In fact, if you looked at them side by side, it would be quite comical. If you see that, there you go. there's
when
what we need.
looking for these people, don't necessarily look out, just look up.
Yeah. So yeah, Joanna, her time on the lam was quite unspectacular in comparison to the last person we talked about who was on the run. So, Amy, I think now is probably a good time for a quick break. What do you think?
Yeah, I reckon so. I'm intrigued because all of the murders have happened. So yeah, I'm intrigued for the second part.
All of the murders has happened. Cool. So we shall see you back here in just a few moments. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode, our 100th episode. If you don't know, it is our 100th. We haven't talked about it a lot.
How many is it? 100.
But yes, we hope that you're enjoying this week's big milestone episode. Amy, we talked about it in the break. You said that you weren't familiar with this case or Joanna herself. How are you finding it so far? What do you think of Joanna Dennehy?
Yeah, I mean, I had to have a look at a picture of her in the break because the name was really bugging me, and I was like, I'm sure I must have heard of this at some point, but I looked up the picture and the face doesn't ring any bells, and it is a recognizable face. She's literally got a star tattoo on her cheek, so you would think that it would stick in my mind. But I tell you what, I think that the main thing that sticks with me after looking at her picture is something very vain, and I know I don't judge at all. I'm sure she's a lovely person. I mean, she isn't, obviously, but
She's definitely not.
I don't know how she inspires such loyalty from the thuggish gentleman in her life, because she's I mean, she ain't a looker. She's not
That's fair.
She's not Halle Berry, let's put it that way. So I don't really get it, but you know, I'm sure she had some sort of hold over their hearts. Aw.
She just had a vice grip vagina. I don't know.
Fair. I mean, maybe the blowjobs were just like world class, or I don't know.
Maybe.
Did anal on the first date? I don't know. There's a lot of things that could explain it, but it wasn't her face. Her face is not one of the explanations.
Yeah, and in it's going to sound horrible to say. She's quite unspectacular with regards to looks. So there must have been something. I don't know.
She looked like she could beat someone up, which, you know, sure, fine, makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this Stretch dude is obviously like besotted, and either his standards are incredibly low, or I don't know, she's got something that I'm not seeing, or I'm not aware of. Yeah. That's why I went to say I'm sure she's a lovely person, but she isn't a lovely person. So I don't know. Maybe it was just really good sex. I don't know. But yeah,
maybe
it's definitely interesting.
Really good puss. Yeah,
she's got the good puss.
She's got the good puss. That's it.
This is the dollar store. How good could it be? Sorry. Oh God, I'm quoting Vine. What have I become?
Like, yeah, she must have something. It's not her personality, because you know you can't with Joanna. You can't be like, oh, she's not the best looking, but at least she's got an amazing person. I
feel like there's like quite a lot of our listeners right now who are thinking this exact same thing about me. Like, I mean, it's not her face.
Oh,
it's not her personality, so it must be something.
I mean,
but yeah, she's
Reggie,
obviously. Oh, I mean, yeah,
Reggie has already said what.
Yeah, I mean, it comes to something when what you bring to the table is red hair and tits, and this is a podcast, an audio podcast. So the things that I'm bringing, which are purely visual, aren't even coming across. So
yeah, that's it. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you're not going to see the cleavage or the red hair. So maybe subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you'll see cleavage and red hair.
I've got massive tits. Oh, God. Oh, I hate myself. Yeah. On with the
Wow.
case.
Oh dear. So with Joanna now in the custody of the Rozzers, of the Popo, of the police,
Pigs.
what was her motive to kill 3 men and attempt to kill 2 more? Was it financial? Maybe it was a sort of revenge on men for something that happened. During her killing spree, she did target men, telling her friend Lloyd that she didn't want to kill any woman, especially those who had children. That's considerate.
Nice of you.
According, yeah, right. Maybe you should. Have you checked on your own children, Joanna?
How are the
Just
kids?
saying. Yeah, yeah, exactly. According to Lloyd, Dennehy aspired to be like Bonnie and Clyde and had wanted to kill 9 men in total. As for why she killed, like I said, was it financial? No. It was for infamy, but also because she saw killing men as, quote, entertainment.
Okay. I mean, at least she's
So-
honest about it. Like, we've heard some people in the past come
Yeah.
up with some pretty shoddy excuses as to why they've killed people, and really you suspect that it's just because they liked it. At least she's just come straight out and said, do you know what? Funsies.
So yeah, a glowing, lovable personality does Joanna
so
Dennehy
nice.
have.
Yeah, such a nice lady.
In addition to saying that she stabbed men for the purpose of, quote, entertainment, and telling her friend Richards, quote, I want my fun, I need you to get my fun, she later told a psychiatrist that she found murder to be, quote, Moorish, and that after the first killing, she, quote, got a taste for it.
God. Wow.
What a bundle of joy this woman
Well,
is.
yeah. Pringles are Moorish, love.
Yeah,
Murder.
there are many things.
Yeah.
There
Maybe
are
not so
there are
much.
many things that are Moorish that won't get you thrown in jail. Maybe
Yeah.
go for one of those.
Yeah.
So Dennehys' arrest would not be sort of taken particularly seriously by Dennehy. I don't think she really understood the gravity of the situation, because when she did get arrested, it seemed to amuse her more than anything else. While being booked, she laughed and joked and flirted with the male police officer who processed her, according to the Daily Mail.
I mean, I flirt in most situations, but you know, you pick the right people, and the person that's arresting you maybe isn't the right people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I wouldn't flirt with the male police officer who's literally processing you to be put in jail awaiting trial. Personally, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hey,
the
I'm
best
not
choice.
Joanna Dennehy.
Well, no. Lucky for us all.
Yeah, exactly. Dennehy would enter a guilty plea to all 3 killings and 2 further attempted murders in November 2013, sorry. The guilty plea did not surprise her sister, Maria, who would remark, quote, I think she did that to control the situation. She likes people to know that she's the boss, end quote. She definitely does seem to be the kind of person who likes people to know that she is the dominant one, that she's the boss, that what she says goes, and likes to be in control and all that jazz.
Yeah, so do I, but I'm not stabbing bitches.
Yeah. Like Joanna just turned that to 11 and did it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. They're not going to care that
maybe
you're the
that's
boss
why
if they're
Richards, but also maybe that's why Richards was enamored with her, because maybe he was submissive and he liked people to be dominant. Maybe that's why he really liked Joanna. I don't know. I'm spitballing.
That does make sense. Like,
don't
Not
make
that
a
I'm
lot of
speaking
sense.
for experience,
So that's quite a rarity.
but generally, the bigger the man, the more likely he is to want to be dominant. Speaking from if my mother's listening, very limited experience. If anyone else is listening, somewhat considerable experience. Yeah, that's my general assessment, is that the bigger guys usually are the ones that want to be dominated, whereas the smaller ones want to feel like they can dominate. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
Dennehy was held at HM Prison Bronzefield, which is a Category A prison in Surrey, under remand. For those that don't know what under remand means, it's essentially you're put in prison while your trial is ongoing. So you're sort of held while your trial is happening. Also, for people who don't know what a Category A prison is and don't know sort of how prisons in the UK are classed, a Category A prison is pretty much our equivalent of a maximum security prison in the United States, I would say.
It's the hardcore prisons.
So, like you've got to be some fucked up crazy if you're put in a Category A prison. You've done some bad things. So, in this case, Joanna being put in a Category A prison is probably quite a good call, because prison staff would discover her diary, and in her diary, you're gonna love this, Amy. In her diary, they would discover a plan for her escape from Bronzefield, where she was being held under remand. How do you think she planned to escape? I'm quite curious, Ames. Like, off the top of your head, how would you think that Joanna would be like, I'm going to escape this holding prison?
I mean, I can only imagine that she's planning on killing someone, because that would be like, two birds, one stone for her, right? So I don't know, maybe shanking a guard or something and taking the keys, getting out that way.
Yeah.
Don't tell me if you're about to tell me that she was going to Shawshank it. Then I will desk flip.
Bloody hell! I kind of want to see you desk flip regardless of what I'm about to say. So killing someone is quite on brand for Joanna. Had I obviously not seen how she planned to escape, I would be like, she's probably going to kill a guard, get the keys, or on that ilk. However, that's not what Joanna did at all. She didn't stab someone. She didn't tunnel her way out of Bronzefield, a la Mr. Dufresne in the Shawshank Redemption. No. She planned to cut off a guard's finger and use his fingerprint to trick the security system.
God, sorry, Coke almost came out my nose. Sorry, wait. I'm just buffering.
I probably should have let you finish your drink before I actually said her plan. But
yeah, honestly, that was very close to coming out of my nose. I mean, I kind of get it. You would need the. I mean, if it's biometric and you need the fingerprint, then
yeah, you would.
Makes sense. But what? I mean, if you don't kill the guard, do you think you're just gonna sit there and wait? But you're borrowing my finger. Okay, I'll just wait here until you get back. No problem. I won't tell anyone about what's happening.
Yeah. He's still on the floor a few days later, being like, Joanna hasn't come back with my finger yet. She said she would.
Said she'd be right back.
I kind of need my finger. Like, I haven't been able to actually get out of anywhere because I need my finger to use the biometrics, and I don't have
I'm
it.
Stuck now. Brilliant. Yeah. I mean, if you said to me, "Oh, she's going to kill a guard and then take his finger," okay, that makes sense. But you can't just take a dude's finger. Like, it's not something that someone isn't going to notice
Yeah. But that's the thing, like,
you
if someone
are gonna
spots
feel it.
you, if someone spots you walking around with a finger that isn't yours, how would you explain that?
You could just pop it between two others and just be like, no, I've always had 6. You haven't got 6? That's weird.
Did you know that I was born in Norwich? Of course I've got 6 fingers.
God, that's a UK specific joke.
Yeah, American listeners are going to have no idea.
They'll be like, what? Yeah.
They're all inbred in Norwich.
Yeah. Sorry, Norwich.
When they
say
Norwich is coming into their own, they mean it.
What?
I've never been to
I'm
Norwich.
sure there's places like it in the States as well. I'm sure there's probably whole like states in the States that are like it. So
Yeah, the Deep South.
There's a lot
they love
of
marrying
cousins fucking going on in Norwich.
Give me 6. Sorry, Norwich,
funny.
you've done absolutely nothing to
Yeah, we're just coming for you. Oh God, the 3 listeners that we've got in Norwich have just gone, hey, fuck you guys. We've only just worked out how to turn on this podcast.
We discovered fire last week where we're on the up and up.
We're evolving.
So yes. Joanna with not a foolproof escape plan. To be honest, it's not.
Yeah. The theory's there. The theory's solid. If there is, fingerprint locks on things, then yes, in theory, taking a finger is a good idea. But the execution was maybe not all that well thought out.
What do you think the end result of this was, Amy? When people sort of saw that she was about to cut off a guard's finger to...
Yeah, I'm going to take a wild guess and say she didn't escape.
No. She did not escape, and then she would be put in solitary confinement for the duration of her trial, which was about 2 years. So she was in solitary confinement for 2 years.
Christ. Did she get to keep the finger?
Her run request was, can I keep the
If I was
finger?
alone in solitary confinement for 2 years, an extra finger might come in handy. That's all I'm saying.
Oh dear. I'm pretty sure it was 2 years. I'm pretty like 2013 to 2015, I want to say. But
bloody hell.
Yeah, that kind of backfired a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best.
So no. So that's a little bit of an insight into the mind of Joanna Dennehy. But let's dig a little deeper, shall we? As said earlier, she said that she found murder fun and, quote, Moorish. After killing one of her victims, John Chapman, Dennehy would call her confidant, Richards, and she would sing, oops, I did it again, down the phone at him.
Oh, no. I mean, I like a bit of slapstick, like at least she's got a sense of humor about it. I mean, it's obviously horrific.
Yeah.
But at least there's some sort of sense of humor. I don't think that was Britney's original, intention for the song.
No. No, probably not. But if you're going to be a murderer, at least be able to have a giggle and a laugh, I suppose.
Yeah. At least be funny.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have a lot going for you if you're a murderer, so at least have a good sense of humor. In addition, rather than be concerned that her killings would make the news, Joanna's friend, Georgina Page, would testify that Dennehy, quote, danced like a schoolgirl after seeing a teletext article of her crimes. And I'm not going to lie, hearing the term teletext article has made me feel very, very, very old, and I don't really appreciate that. to be honest.
Yeah, there's literally. Do you
As
want to know what's really
stated-
depressing? There's literally going to be some people listening to this that don't know what teletext is.
No.
And
no.
the fact that they're old enough
Which
to
is
be
mad.
listening, but young enough not to know what teletext is just really depressing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you fall into that category, if
that's
you're
a-
sitting here listening to this episode and you don't know what teletext is, fuck you for being so young.
Maybe for the YouTube viewers, I'll put a screenshot of like a teletext article on so that they know what it looks
Yeah.
like. But
Wait, do Americans have teletext?
So-
I wonder if they have it.
I don't know. I have no idea. No, because it hasn't been in the UK for ages, is it? I'm pretty sure teletext
Years.
stopped being a
No.
thing a long time ago. So
Yeah, I don't even know how to describe
idea.
it, so I just won't Google it.
Yeah, if I tried, it would be very poor. So, but yeah, she was pretty excited to see her crimes on the media, which isn't great. As stated earlier, she laughed, joked, and flirted with her arresting officers. She would even describe the murders and attempted murders quite unsettlingly casually, quote, like quote, going down for a Sunday roast. It's a weird analogy, but still.
Yeah,
So
definitely interesting.
I wouldn't compare murdering people to having a Sunday roast myself. Hey, that's just me. So on the back of all that, Ames, you might not be particularly surprised that Joanna Dennehy had quite a lot of diagnoses from assessing psychiatrists. Would you like to have a stab at what those diagnoses might be?
Definitely some sort of personality disorder. Potentially schizophrenia. There might be some, voices there. I mean, she's got to be psychopathic, sociopathic, one of the two. Narcissistic personality disorder. I mean, I can give you a lot of guesses.
Okay.
But I think I'm probably still going to be surprised.
Well, you said personality disorders, and she in fact was given 3 different types of personality disorders.
Ooh.
She would
Ding,
be
ding, ding, we have a
diagnosed
winner.
with, right? She'll be diagnosed with borderline, antisocial, and psychopathic personality disorders.
Yay.
So that was pretty on the money. There was one that you did not
Maybe
say
I should
though.
start putting. Oh, sorry.
No.
I was going to say maybe I should start putting some of the episodes where I diagnose people on my CV.
I am a professional. I hope diagnose people on a true
Yeah.
crime podcast. Get me a psychiatry
diagnose people
degree.
I've never met.
Give me a
That's my next step,
certificate.
so I might as well do something to work towards it.
So yeah, there was one diagnosis that you didn't mention, and I'm a little bit surprised. I thought you would mention this one. So in addition to borderline, antisocial, and psychopathic personality disorders, she'll be given / diagnosed with sadomasochism, which obviously, if you don't know, is the need to inflict and receive pain and humiliation during sex. So,
I mean,
yeah, she's got quite a few.
Wouldn't necessarily call that a bad thing.
I'd never said it was. I'm just saying that she was given that diagnosis too.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does make a lot of sense. Although, I don't know. I know she killed some of the people that she slept with, but not necessarily. Oh no, it was during, wasn't it? Yeah, ignore me.
There isn't a lot of detail as to why she did get diagnosed with sadomasochism, other than she killed people potentially during sex, or at least in the build-up to sex.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we
but
don't know what
she
she's
was given that.
confessing. She's
Yeah,
in theory
yeah.
having therapy,
Um,
and she's maybe, saying some stuff to the therapist that the therapist's like, whoa, okay.
yeah, exactly. So Dennehys' trial would begin at the Old Bailey in London, where Dennehy could be seen laughing during the proceedings, stating, quote, "I have pleaded guilty, and that's that," when questioned about her decision. Dennehy would even stand up at one point during her trial to inform Mr. Justice Spencer that, quote, "I don't want to be controlled by anybody. I don't want to be controlled by my lawyers, by the police, by anybody." Joanna, I would kind of just sit down and not say anything during your trial, because
You stop talking.
opening your mouth is not being beneficial to you at this point.
No. But then that sounds like she just doesn't care. Like, it almost sounds like she said
Yeah,
that she's
no,
guilty,
she doesn't.
thinking that she wouldn't need a trial. Like, she's just accepted that she's going to go to prison, I guess.
Yeah. Just a cold woman who didn't really care about human life by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what Mr. Justice Spencer said when he referred to Dennehy as, quote, "a cruel, calculating, selfish and manipulative serial killer," on February the 28th, 2014, when he sentenced her to life in prison with an extra directive that she never be allowed to be freed because of the premeditation involved in each murder. Fun fact, I didn't know this, so this was a nice little fun fact that I found when I was outlining this. At the time of her sentencing, she was only the third woman in the UK to receive a whole life tariff. Do you think you could name the other two, Amy?
Ooh.
So this was at the time of her sentencing.
Okay, that does make a difference, because I was going to say Lucy Letby, but that's afterwards. So I'm going to go with some slightly older cases. Let's go with the obvious ones. Myra Hindley.
That's one.
That's one. And
That's one. And there's one more.
Rose West?
Bingo. Correct on both counts. So
there's a reason I'm
yes,
here, people.
She was the third woman. You're getting all of these quiz questions right. So yeah, she was the third woman in the UK after Myra Hindley and Rosemary West, who, of course, Myra Hindley was a part of the Moors murders, and then Rose West is another infamous English killer who very much helped her husband to kill quite a lot of people to receive a whole life tariff. No, absolutely not. And as Amy quite rightly said, following her conviction last year, Lucy Letby would become only the fourth woman in the UK to receive a whole life tariff.
Does that mean that I got all four?
Yeah, pretty much. So smashed
God,
it.
I've got some niche information in my brain.
Everyone else has useful information, and us two are just like, we know who the women were that got a whole life tariff.
Did you know?
So that also isn't the only link between Joanna Dennehy and Lucy Letby either, which I will go into, but those two are also linked in other ways, which we will talk about in a minute, quite soon. So Dennehy would be sent back to Her Majesty's Prison Bronzefield following her trial. In 2018, she requested permission to marry her cellmate, Hayley Palmer, much to the dismay of Palmer's family, who feared that Dennehy might put her in danger. those fears would be justified, as in 2018, both women tried to kill themselves after making a suicide pact with each other. Yikes, yikes, yikes.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So Dennehy would be transferred to HM Prison Lau Newton, which is another Category A prison in County Durham in 2019.
I know the
What?
connection. Sorry. That's where
Okay.
Lucy Letby
I mean,
was.
I thought you would, because obviously we've talked about Lucy Letby.
Sorry.
So, but spoiler alert for people who don't know.
Sorry, everyone. I got excited.
So yeah, she was transferred to HM Lau Newton, or Low Newton, sorry. I don't know why I pronounce that as Lau. It's definitely Low. A Category A prison in County Durham in 2019. On her arrival to her new prison abode, she allegedly threatened to kill Rosemary West, of all people, saying that, like, essentially to the effect of, if I come across that bitch, I'm going to kill her. I'm paraphrasing. The Ministry of Justice denied these claims, so even though Rose West would eventually be shipped out to a different prison, because staff at Low Newton did sort of start to worry about what would happen to Rose West. The Ministry of Justice did deny these claims, saying in a statement, quote, "This story is untrue." I hope that was not the entire statement, because if that was the entire statement, that's not particularly convincing. And I could see Joanna, I could see Joanna making a run at Rose West, to be fair. Like, it doesn't sound out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I probably would. Like, if I'm in, and, you know, I'm in prison for the rest of my life and I'm not getting out, why not take out one of the most evil women the UK's ever seen? You know, you might as well.
Very true.
Give it a pop.
Very true. You know, just scum killing scum. Can't be a bad thing, can it? So, according to reports in June 2020, Joanna Dennehy would be romantically involved with Emma Aitken, who was a fellow prisoner in Low Newton. And why was Emma Aitken in prison? Well, she would assist her father and boyfriend beat a man to death before setting his body on fire. So, kind of like two peas in a really fucked up pod, to be honest.
Yeah. That's nice.
How romantic.
Nice that they found each other.
Oh dear. Yeah. I couldn't think of two more perfect individuals to be in a relationship. So to bookend this episode, earlier I hinted that there was another connection between Joanna Dennehy and Lucy Letby, other than the whole life tariff. Amy spoiled that. Sorry, everybody, but I'm going to still talk about it.
Sorry. I just got excited.
But for the people who weren't paying attention at that exact moment, what is the other connection that I hinted at earlier? Well, following her conviction last year, Lucy Letby was originally held at HM Prison Low Newton, which is the same prison in which Joanna Dennehy currently resides. As of January 2024, Lucy Letby was moved to a different prison and is currently serving her sentence in HMP Bronzefield, which, if you remember, is the same prison that once held Joanna Dennehy within its walls.
They swapped prisons.
That is They did a the good old Uno reverse card on each other.
Yeah. The really fucked up version of Wife Swap.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that is the case of Joanna Dennehy, a beacon of goodness and everything that is right with the world. Amy, what do you think about
Yeah.
Joanna now that you know about her and her crimes and all of that?
Yeah, she's definitely surprising. Yeah, I just think I don't think it happens very often that people just come out and say, I killed because I enjoyed it. And I think there's probably more serial killers out there that know that that's the reason but don't admit it, whether that's because they're
Yeah.
trying to get off and they're trying to blame something in their past for why they are the way that they are. But when it comes down to it, I think it's probably obvious that there's a lot of killers that do just do it because they enjoy it. Otherwise, they would have stopped doing it a long time ago. So I'm conscious that I don't want to use the word flippantly, but it's almost refreshing that she's just come out and gone, oh, do you know what? I enjoyed it. I kill people because
Yeah.
I like doing it. It's like, okay, I mean, that's shit. And obviously you need to speak to someone, but at least you're honest, I
Yeah.
suppose. I guess that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. At least she's self-aware. She knows that she likes to kill, and she's not hiding that. You know, and you know, it probably meant that the trial was quite quick. And you know, there wasn't any need to drag that out, and it was quite an easy investigation for the law enforcement. So I mentioned it earlier. It's quite rare that we have a serial killer that didn't come from a broken home, that came from a very loving household. From what I could read up on and make out, she came from a very loving household. She came from a very stable household. She was given whatever she needed to flourish. So what was it that flipped that switch? Was Joanna Dennehy born evil, and this was always inside her, and she needed something to you know, turn that on? Or was it something that in some way was nurtured over time and then she became evil? It's an interesting question. We don't have to get into nature versus nurture, but it's quite an interesting case because, like I said, the vast majority of people that we talk about have an abusive childhood in some way, shape, or form, or they're bullied at school, or there's some societal thing that happens to them. But from what I could see with Joanna Dennehy, at least her upbringing before she, you know, ran away from home and then shit started to kind of hit the fan. You know, it was, you know, loving and stable and good from what I could make out. So, you know, it's quite interesting what caused Joanna Dennehy to go on and kill. So it's an interesting question.
Definitely.
I mean, I won't put you on the spot. I won't put you on the spot.
Oh, God.
I won't.
Oh,
I'm
God.
not that mean.
No, I mean, I wouldn't. I think I haven't got an answer to that question anyway. You know, I think obviously she's been diagnosed with some stuff since, and there are people out there who just get off on inflicting pain or have very extreme tastes when it comes to sex and just things that cause them to feel something. I mean, again, any excuse to bring him up because, you know, super fan. But Jeffrey Dahmer was the same. You know, his upbringing wasn't ideal. Like his mum wasn't, you know, particularly mentally stable, but in terms of the family environment, it was generally pretty standard, and his dad loved him. You know, he had a good upbringing. He didn't want for anything. But a lot of what it came down to was the fact that he was turned on by the flesh, basically. I mean, like, he liked the way that innards felt, and that turned him on, and that is very specific and very niche, and that is what led him to do a lot of the things that he did. Granted, there was other elements to it in that, you know, he wanted to consume people, as in not in the metaphorical sense. But if it was that Joanna got off on inflicting pain, then maybe that's just all the trigger that is needed to then go and do that. Does it explain why you would stab a man in the street 40 times? No, maybe not. But I definitely don't think it was I don't know, maybe there was just one situation where she thought, you know what, I could kill this guy. She did it, and then it just became, that's all she could do, you know, that's all she could think about doing. Once you've done something once, you know how it feels. I guess it kind of become maybe like an addiction for her, so she just kept doing it.
And maybe this was who Joanna was the whole time. And it wasn't until she killed her first victim that she realized that she did get pleasure from killing. She just, she didn't realize, she didn't realize it. This was who she was from from childhood up to the first murder. But obviously it wasn't until she killed her first victim that she realized, I kind of enjoy it, so I'm going to carry on doing it. But yeah, it's an interesting question. And to the listeners and the people watching on YouTube, by all means, debate amongst each other, slide into our DMs, put something on the Spotify Q&A, because we would love to know if you think Joanna Dennehy was always this person and she just needed something to bring it out, or she wasn't and something happened in later life that made her into this person. We would love to know. We'd love to know what people think. So, Ames, would you like to see us out for this week?
Absolutely. Thank you for that case, Dom. Definitely not a British one that I'd heard of, which is rare, so thank you.
Yes. Absolutely.
To our listeners, to our viewers, thank you for joining us this week. I don't know if we've mentioned it, but this is our 100th episode. And we only ever get more and more grateful for the fact that you want to listen to us, to watch us, to join us every week, to hear about some pretty horrific stuff. We find our tribe by the people that listen and that enjoy the same things that we do, so thank you. If you like what we do here and you want to hear us do it for 100 more episodes, then there are plenty of ways that you can support us. You can follow us on social media. You can give us a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, go to the Q&A and tell us what you think. Send us messages to let us know what cases you'd like us to cover next. I think me and Dom both want more people to recommend cases. Like, it's good when other people suggest things. Mostly because our search histories are getting pretty complex.
They're bad. Point. They're bad. They are. They're so bad. If the FBI seized my laptop, I would be extremely concerned as to what they would find.
Yeah. If the FBI came and said, Amy, we want to look at your search history, I would show them the porn. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. Probably
so if you've got a case that you want to hear us cover, send it over, let us know about it, tell us why we should cover it, and we will, because we want to give you what you want. Again, thank you for your support. We couldn't We wouldn't have made it to 100 episodes if it weren't for you guys. So thank you. And until next time, for the last 100 episodes and the next 100 episodes, stay spooky.
Yes. Stay bloody spooky for 100 and 100 and 100 and 100 more episodes.
Balloons.
Oh, we got balloons. 100! Yeah! Oh, dear. So, would you replicate Joanna Dennehy's escape plan, Ames? Do you think that cutting off someone's finger to use to trick a security system is a wise choice?
Dom, you know how much I love a finger.
Enough said.